Hello, everyone, and welcome to this is the Northern Lights acrylic painting demo. Welcome. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to join me here. My name is Agnes Friedlander, but everyone calls me Aggie. So say hello, let me know where you are watching from, and how did your day go? We'll get started in just a couple of minutes. And if you could, I see a couple people hopping in here. Let me know. Let's make sure that you can hear me and that everything, all the tech is working properly. YouTube just notified me that I am broadcasting there, so that's good. Hi, Dolores. I take it you can hear me all right. I moved everything around and I have a different setup, and I think I like it. Oh my goodness, I have a bunch of comments. Dolores says, I hear you fine. Yay, that's always good. And Alice, my Wisconsin buddy, says Wisconsin is in the house. Hi, Barb. Barb's having a great day with her grandchildren. Oh, there's nothing better, right? Here's somebody on Facebook saying that I am here. So yes, the party can start because you are here. Hi, Amy from California. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Sandy. Welcome. Hi, Lori. Another California girl. You're back from Hawaii, I take it. Great to see all of you here. Thank you so much. So what do you think? Does this look like Northern Lights? Am I a little off base? It's Denise. Hi, Denise. Hi, Lynn. My hubby said it doesn't really look as colorful as Northern Lights. Claire from Alaska now. Hello, Claire. I'm so glad you could make it. And Claire was the inspiration. Maybe inspiration's not the word. Claire was the motivation. How's that? Hi, Shelly. Shelly is here. So Claire is a member in my painting group. It's a painting group, and we also do glass and resin art. It's called The Painter's Journey. And we chat. We have a messenger chat group, and we kind of chat back and forth all day long. And Claire the other day was like, does anybody know how to paint the Northern Lights? And I thought, well, you know what? I should try that. Hello, hello. So, wow, we've got enough of us here. I think we should go ahead and get started. But first of all, what do you think? Does it look enough like Northern Lights? I think it does. My hubby, he had a bad headache, and sometimes he says critical things when he's not feeling well, but we all get that way, don't we? Hi, Joanne. This works best with this teal color. It doesn't have to be teal specifically, but have any of you that paint, have you ever noticed that phthalo blue green shade, you know, the beautiful color that we get, you know, blue green with, and some other pigments of teal and turquoise, they have this unique quality to them when you layer them with water. They kind of break up and make these beautiful, I don't know what word to use. It makes this beautiful stuff happen, for lack of a better word. I don't know why that is. I think it's the nature of that specific pigment. Oh, is my voice fading? Maybe I'm not speaking loud enough. But there's something special about using the turquoise. Now you can try using some other colors, as I did over here on another one. Let me grab this other one. So you're going to see a lot of sheen on here. Let me hold it up this way. Maybe that's a little bit better. And you can't really pick up the pink the magenta. I actually added quinacridone magenta at the top. And I'll talk about this later. This one is maybe a little bit more layers and a little bit more advanced. But you can get some other colors in there. Essentially, long story short, we start out with doing these layers like this of the paint. So step one, let me just give you a synopsis overview. Step one, we're going to layer these colors on the background. It has to dry, and then I think I prefer it with the splattered, this is white gesso actually. I think I prefer it with the splattered stars, and we dry that real quick, and then we paint the trees on. And I'm going to show you kind of a close-up of the technique and how to do the trees, okay? And then, and pretty much that's it. But if you wanted to, you know, add a little bit more, you know me, I'm always kind of trying, you know, take it a little bit further, see what else we can do. There's more that you can do. You can add another glaze. So a glaze is a watery version of the color. You can add more of the phthalo blue green shade. As you can see, I kind of added more of that in here. And you can add more white dots close to the tree so that it really brings contrast, really brings your attention there. You can emphasize some of these streaks with a little more of a glaze if you'd like. And then what I did, I just took a 3/4 inch flat brush and wet all of it first with clear water. And then I added a glaze of quinacridone magenta, and that's how I got that. So essentially, I'm coloring the white stars, if you will. But I don't know, what do you think? Do you like that or no? You could certainly leave that part out if you'd like. So anyway, this one is on a gallery wrap canvas, and you know, that's just another option. So you can paint these on paper, canvas, wood panel. I had a few people asking me today, can you paint it on anything? I would try it, yes. I think, yes, I would say yes, you can. Here, I want to show you a couple that I did. So let me show you the paper, first of all. And if we don't get through this entire lesson tonight, we will continue next Monday night at 6 p.m. We'll be right back here again to finish it up. So I used the last few sheets of it. Oh, here it is. Couldn't find it. I used the last few sheets, and this is what it's called. It's this mixed media paper by Strathmore. And it is 184-pound paper. It has a smooth finish. Here's some things I've painted. It has kind of a smooth finish. Doesn't really totally matter which side of the paper you use. But I actually really love painting on paper. If you haven't tried it, you should. So there's that. That is what and this is 6 by 8. So you could get this. And what I did is I have this wooden panel that I got from Michaels. These are paint panels from Michaels. And I actually trimmed the paper, and I'm going to explain to you why. I trimmed the paper and taped it down with Scotch Magic Tape. This works really well, believe it or not. Scotch Magic Tape is what I used. So let me explain why I trimmed 1/2 inch off the width of the paper. You may not want to do that depending on your situation, but let me just, you have to think about this up front. You have to think about how are you going to present it. Maybe you're going to be giving these as gifts. Maybe you're going to be selling them. So you need to think about, are you going to put it in a frame, or are you going to put it in a sleeve, or are you going to mat it, things like that. So here is, this is actually something I did a couple years ago. And this one is matted. So it's essentially it says 5 by 7. It's an 8 by 10 mat, but the actual image area, the opening is 4.5 by 6.5. So it's 4.5 wide by 6.5 high. That's the live area. So when you create these, if you're going to mat them, you want to make sure you have at least that much live area plus a little extra. And so let me take one that's already, open, and you can kind of see it's that much wider. I have a lot of extra image. I got some leeway there with the length also. You can see this is taller, obviously. And so when I go to mat this, and it's a good idea, if you mess up a mat like I did, keep it anyway, because you can use it as a guide in your studio for this specific purpose. So, I can map out, I can decide, I can kind of shift this around a little bit if I need to. So I know for sure that what I'm creating is going to fit in an 8 by 10 mat. And you can buy these mats on Amazon. I think the company is called Golden Mat Company or something like that. If you just Google, if you do a Google search for, if you do an Amazon search for 8 by 10 mat sets, and you'll find them in there. And a mat set is basically the backer board. So here's my backer board, and I like to write a little something on the back. I put my price on the back. It's matted and it's in the sleeve. And I just simply tape the artwork to you can either tape it to the backer board or to the back of the mat. It's up to you. So this is a nice piece. It's not going to get hurt. It's good to go. It's a nice way to protect your artwork. And like I say, those mat sets you can get on Amazon. And the other option, if you don't want to put it in a mat, is that you could just put them in a sleeve unmatted. So these are some sleeves that I bought from Clear Bags, plural, sorry, Clear Bags. And let me turn this off. So these are just a little bit, they're 5 and 15/16 by 8 and 11/16. And I actually really love this size because it gives me a little bit of leeway. Where's one that I have in here? Okay, I had this one in here, so let me put it back in. So we can just slide this in here, right? Now they have them that tape, but I find the taping to be a bit of a pain. They have the kind that fold over and tape, and that little piece of tape that you pull off, it's always staticky and it's hard to tape it. It's just as protected like this. If I wanted to, I could fold this over and put Scotch tape. I could crease it. But honestly, they're fine like this, in my opinion. So that's why I like this one. I like having that little bit of extra. I've also sometimes clipped these. If I'm in a booth and selling them someplace, you could put a hole through this and hang them or clip them onto something. So that's kind of nice. And you won't damage the artwork underneath. So that's another pretty great idea, right? So those are the two options. The other thing you could do, I suppose, if you're going to do it on paper, you could actually mount the finished piece to a board if you wanted to. And you could probably find all kinds of classes on YouTube about that. There's everything on YouTube now. I've taught that in my membership. I think that's in the it's in the Resin 101 class. We actually took a watercolor and mounted it onto a board, and then we resined it. So at any rate, enough about that. Those are some options. And I'm going to go ahead and put these in sleeves to protect them while we're working. And then I'm going to show you what I did next so that I have a couple of pieces in progress. I'm going to demonstrate how to do this background. I'm going to demonstrate, oh, this one's wider. It's not going to fit in here. Yeah, so I do have other size bags. This is one that I did not trim down. It will not fit in there. So this one would look better, you know, matted. Okay, but these two I did trim down, so I've got some more. Anyway, okay, let's set these aside. So I showed you the mixed media paper. Now there are some other papers that are very, very nice. This is my favorite, I'll be honest. It's nice and heavy too. So here is another paper, and you can see it has just a tiny bit of crinkling in it. It's not too bad. There's just a tiny bit of crinkling in it. But I think that once this is matted, it would be fine. And this paper is by Strathmore. And I like the 9x12 pad. If you like working this size, a 9x12 pad is nice because maybe I'll take myself out of here and make this bigger. A 9x12, you can get 2 of these off of here, right? So that's what I did. I got 2 of these off of one sheet. And I just, basically used my handy dandy cutter. This one right here, I just used this to cut them to the size. And that size was, again, it was 5.5 by 8. That's what this paper size is, 5.5 by 8. And that's what I made these two, so that they will fit in the sleeves. And I give these, sometimes I'll give these as freebies to a customer, that's made a purchase. I'll just throw that in there, or maybe it would be a prize that I give away or something like that, So, and they're also, not very expensive to mail, to ship out, to send out to somebody. So at any rate, you can use 9x12 Canva paper. Now, what I want you to notice, this Canva paper, it simulates the texture of canvas. You can't really see it on here right now, but there is like a linen texture to it. And the other brand that's really nice is Cansen's Canva paper. But look at the difference in the color. Can you believe that? It's kind of crazy. This one is much whiter, obviously. I think it's the same weight. And I think they were pretty similar in price. 130, no, they're not the same weight. I'm sorry. This is 115 pound, the one by Strathmore. And the Canson is 136 pounds. So it does feel a lot stronger and heavier. This pad is much heavier than this pad too. They're both 10 sheets. So that's what I used. And I went ahead and, like I said earlier, actually what I have taped on here is the mixed media by Strathmore. So this is what I'm going to demonstrate on in, actually right now. I'm going to go ahead and start on that now. You could also use watercolor paper. Here are some that I did on watercolor paper, but I found that the pigment just wasn't quite as strong. Now this was only one layer. You probably could do multiple layers to get richer color, but I just, you know me, I'm an acrylic painter, and I just said, I'm going to go to the acrylic paints, get her done. So I just think, when that's the thing with watercolor. I'm not knocking watercolor. I love watercolor, but you can get much more vibrant color with acrylics, in my opinion. And the paints that I'm using, let me show you those. I'm using golden fluid acrylics. Now you can use whatever you have. You can use your craft paints, but I'm going to tell you right now, and some of these ladies that are here tonight are members in the Painter's Journey, and they have experienced this firsthand. When you kind of up level. When you decide to go with a professional grade acrylic paint, it makes a huge, huge difference, right, ladies? Who can attest to that? So I would suggest, one tube at a time or one bottle at a time. Invest in yourself, invest in professional grade paints. You will not regret it, I promise you. You don't have to use fluid acrylics. You could use heavy body, soft body. And for the teal, I ran out of the regular fluid, and now I only have the high flow left. You don't have to buy the high flow, but I will say it does help. If you're using heavy body, see Shelly right there. Shelly is saying that she loves the professional grade paints. Didn't it make a world of difference for you? And Lori too. Lori is saying, I will always, let me share your comments. Shelly is saying that she really loves the professional grade paints. And Lori says that she's always going to buy the professional grade from now on. They're so much better. Yes. And Sylvia used it for the White Peacock project that was a recent lesson in the membership. And oh my goodness, Sylvia, that piece is so spectacular. And same thing with Barb. Barb says it makes a huge difference. And yes, there are coupons for Joann's and Michael's, which is awesome. I buy from Dick Blick, but get them whatever works for you. I love Dick Blick, and even Jerry's Artorama. Sometimes they're on sale. Okay, so I'm using tonight the main colors that I'm using. Oh, and by the way, I've made a PDF for this, and I should share the link for that. Let me look for that super quick. Oh, okay. I'm going to make sure I cover everything. Let me just go grab that link for you. Let's just put this here for you to look at something while I'm doing that. So if you haven't grabbed this free PDF, it has, more specific information in there for you. The paints that I'm using and all of that. Okay, so it's at my website, agnesfriedlander.com, but I'm going to grab the link for you. And they just upgraded and added all these cool bells and whistles, and I can now put a PDF. I can share a PDF on my website. It's so awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna share agnesfriedlander.com in here. No big deal. Here it is. Okay, I think that'll work. And you can grab the PDF. I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. Let's see. How do I do that? So here is what it looks like. I made this morning. I've got the photo here that you're looking at, and there's a link. You know what? I don't think the link is working, but on Facebook, if you'd like to share yours, you can. Joanne says she loves my PDFs. Thank you, Joanne. You can join my free Facebook group. It's called Glass and Resin Art Community on Facebook. We'd love to have you. And I also created a playlist right here on YouTube. Some of you might be watching. Yeah, a couple of you are watching on YouTube, I think. So there's the cover of it. And by all means, please do share the joy of creating with your friends. If you'd like to share this PDF, it would be totally awesome of you to do so and let other people know about this free class. So on the second page, we've got the supply list. The paints are, like I was showing you here, it's phthalo blue green shade and Payne's gray and teal, which I showed you here. Now, if you don't have the teal, you can use, oh, thank you, Joanne. You can use your phthalo blue green shade with a little bit of white added to it, and you can make your own teal. Yeah, you might want to add the tiniest skosh of a cool yellow to it. And I mean the tiniest little dot of cool yellow to make it a little more teal. If you add too much yellow, it's going to turn lime green. So I'm going to caution you on that. And then you also need, you know what? I have black listed on there, but you don't have to use black. It's up to you. You could use black for the trees, Mars black or carbon black, but actually I just used Payne's gray for my trees at the bottom. And then you do need to have a nice opaque white, and I used my white gesso. I just used my Liquitex white gesso. I like this because it squeezes out of a bottle, so it's very convenient. And those are all the things that you need as far as paints are concerned. Paper we already talked about. And alternate colors, you actually might want to do lime green, and you might want to do like, pink or magenta. So that's totally up to you. It doesn't have to be quinacridone magenta. You could use any magenta, primary magenta or whatever, but you want to use rich pigments and transparent. Transparent pigments are going to work the best for this. Do we in the Painter's Journey have to go to the website too, or it's in the group? Yes, it is already uploaded inside of the membership, and I posted that this morning. And yes, it's the Glass and Resin Art Community on Facebook. Thank you. I could probably grab the link if somebody wants to share the link. Otherwise, I'm sure you guys can find it. Okay, so, oh my goodness. I think I've got these ready. Oh, wait, there's one more page. One more page. So the last page is, I just wanted to let you know, now this little workshop is a, can I add myself to the stream? Yes, I can. This little freebie workshop is for you to have an example of what my classes are like. Oh, that's okay, Joanne. She typed the word glass twice. So this is exactly how my classes are in the membership. I go live. The members that are available at the time, and they're always Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. And so they know, the members know. And then, oh, thank you. Shelly shared the link. Oh, let me just get a drink of water really quick. When you're talking, your throat gets dry. So I wanted to let you know that, yeah, this is a sample of how my classes are. And I've had this membership, the Painter's Journey, for 4 years. So there is a huge library of classes in my membership. And the last year, maybe a little more than a year and a half, I'm not even sure. We've expanded into doing, oops, hit the camera, glass and resin. So there's all kinds of things. There's alcohol ink, there's watercolors, there's acrylic paint, and now there's a lot of fabulous classes to teach you how to use glass and resin. And sometimes the glass and resin projects are just glass and resin, and sometimes it's a painting, an underpainting with glass and resin added on top. And it's totally up to you. If you don't want to get into glass and resin, you don't have to. When I teach a painting, I teach it as if you might not be adding glass and resin to it. So at the end of this lesson, I hope that you will consider joining if this is the kind of thing that you think you might be interested in. On the last page of this, if you download the PDF, that is an active link, and you can sign up right at my website. My membership is open, and I want to let you know it's $37 a month for a ton of classes. You have immediate access, and this is unheard of now. I've been scoping out other memberships, and there's nothing else like what we have here. There's nothing else like this out there at this price point, and the membership is going to be going up. Now, if you are a member now, of course, your price is locked in, but the price is going to be going up because there's just so much inside the membership to offer. And I would love for you to join us and take advantage of the pricing structure as it is right now. It's only $37 per month. Or if you choose the annual option, it's an even better deal because you get 2 months free. So it's $370 for the annual membership. I mean, it's like crazy. So it's a short time offer. I'm only offering this May 1st through May 7th, and then you won't have access. So just thought I'd throw that out there. All right, let me take this down and we're going to get started. So much talking. Let's get started, right? I have these ready because I want to show you how to draw the trees. And I think people might get a little bit nervous about this. So I just want to kind of walk you through how to do this. But first, we're going to do the background and let the background kind of dry a little bit. And while it's drying, we'll switch over and I'll teach you how to do these, okay? All right. So, whew. All right, here we are. So I might move this down a little bit too, just to get myself. This is the first time I'm using this setup like this. And I like having my art kind of close to me so I'm not reaching. You know, you want to make sure you're really comfortable when you're painting, right? It's very, very important. And this isn't close enough. Okay. So, and I probably am going to be picking this up. So I think I actually am going to leave. Let's see. Is this going to be a better? No. I actually think I'm better off leaving it like this for now. Okay. You need the big view anyway. Okay. So what we're going to do, you kind of need to have your paints ready. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a palette. You can use any kind of palette that you'd like. I find a styrofoam plate to be really the most convenient thing. And I've got a 3/4 inch flat brush, you know, little bucket of water here. And I also have a spray bottle mister. Sometimes that's the quickest way to get the paper wet. You do want to have a mister like this so that you can make the paint move. And we are going to kind of hold this up. The reason why I have this taped to a board is because I am going to pick it up and tilt it. And I've actually got my heat gun here. I'm actually going to tilt it to manipulate the direction of the paint and kind of dry it at the same time. So I don't know if you have ever worked that way before, but I actually really enjoy that. It kind of makes it a little bit beyond your control, which is kind of a good thing. So let's get our paints out first. And the thing about these paints is that it's very, very pigmented. This, like a bottle like this, would probably last you your lifetime. I do paint a lot. They do come in smaller bottles. Okay, so I've got that. And then I'm going to put my Payne's Gray on the other side of the palette. So I've got the two colors. If you're working with heavy body paint, what I would recommend that you do is you might want to have some sort of a mixing cup or separate palettes and get your paint nice and fluid so that you can paint this on here quickly. We're going to work quickly, and we might need to layer too, depending on how saturated you want the color to be. So I'm going to go ahead and add some water to this, my 3/4 inch flat brush. And I'm going to start with the phthalo blue green shade. And that's what I'm going to put on the paper first. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead, spread that on there without really worrying too much about brush strokes or any of that. Go ahead, get that on there. And it's going to soak that paper. It's going to soak it in right away. And it's going to start drying really, really quickly. So I'm going to grab my phthalo blue, my Payne's gray, and I'm going to kind of put that on at the top. And I didn't clean my brush out or anything like that. I just went ahead and started getting that on there. I'm going to get it a little bit darker at the top. And this is kind of my base coat. So that was without any water on the paper first. This one, I'm gonna mist it. I'm gonna wet it a little bit first. Now, since I had the Payne's gray in my brush last, I'm going to, I rinsed my brush out. I should have wiped it off first. Get that color out of my brush because I want to go back to using my phthalo blue. Get that in here. And look at how pretty it starts to spread when you've got it wet already. It's kind of cool what it does. And if I want to keep it lighter at the bottom and just go ahead and spray this now, I can do that. Right? Let me take some of this paint out of here and just kind of push that up there a little bit. And I can also tilt this and make it start running just a little bit. So the pigment is going to run down. And I'm going to add a little bit more blue. And it's the kind of thing, don't think about it too much. Just get it on there and then make it move. Now I'm going to grab the blue. I didn't rinse my brush. Grab the blue. The Payne's gray, sorry. And basically what I'm doing, because that's wet, it kind of spreads a little bit. And I'm letting it do that. Now this is just a first coat. We're gonna get more fun stuff happening. All right, so I'm gonna go back to this first one and I'm gonna mist this one. Get it nice and wet. And I'm gonna do a second layer of my phthalo blue. And look at the cool stuff that happens in there. I just think it's so awesome. And then I'm going to get some more Payne's gray. And get that on there a little bit darker. Oops, not enough. Okay, so now wipe my brush off a little bit. I'm going to pinch this out of my brush and put it in the water. And I don't like this little bit of harsh line right there, so I'm going to mist that. So you want to try not to get too crazy with the water, which I think I just did. I'm going to lift some of that up. And I'm going to add a little bit of teal now. Get a little bit of this teal on here. Re-wet this bottom since I dabbed it off. And I'm just going to add some teal at the very bottom. And I'm going to squirt it right on there. And that is very cool what starts to happen. You could potentially even leave it like that if you really wanted to. If I'm going to mist one of them, mist this one. It'll really start moving because of all that water. So it's totally up to you as to how much of that you want. We can tilt it to the side and get all kinds of cool things happening. Now it's going to kind of change and dissipate a little bit when we start drying it, but that's the next step. So let me pull the camera up. If you wanted to manipulate it with your brush, you certainly can do that right now. So I'm going to go ahead, pull this up a little bit. Pull this up into there. This one too. I'm going to get a little bit more of this on here. Now later on, when I go to put a color on top of this teal, it's going to break up and look really pretty. So I want to make sure I have enough teal down here. Okay, so let's dry this. You really don't have to worry about it a whole lot because it's gonna change and flow and everything. So I'm gonna tilt this and dry it and let it do its thing. You don't want to get too close with this heat gun. If you have a really strong grip, you can always dab at it. It might take forever to dry. And the splattering kind of forgives all sins. The splattering is gonna cover up a lot of stuff. Hey, Julia. So we love splattering. I learned that when I did those Christmas tree classes in person. Oh, were you guys able to hear me while I had that on? I learned from doing a ton of in-person Christmas tree classes that splattering forgives all sins. It just really covers up stuff and makes it look so pretty. Julia, this is what we're doing. Northern Lights. Of course, there's too much glare right now, but I think you get the idea. Okay, so we're going to do another layer. So this feels pretty dry. Sometimes if you use the back of your finger, you can tell, oh, I did have one little bit that was wet there, but I'm just going to dab at it and, you know, no problem. It's going to be fine. So now let me get another paper towel. And you want to kind of space this so that you've got your trees, so that your trees can fit down here. You know, maybe the trees are going to be, what is this, 2 to 3 inches tall. So make sure you've got enough light at the bottom so that you'll have that nice strong contrast. This one I don't have as much contrast, so I think I do want to get this a little bit lighter. I'm going to add some more teal. Adding some more on there. Now I didn't have water, but that's okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do another layer of my phthalo blue green shade right here. So here we go. I'm gonna mist this again with my mister, just a quick misting, not a ton of water. There's like a fine mist all across there. And I might need a little bit more paint. So I'm going to add some water to this. I don't want it too concentrated. And here we go. So see how it does that? Look, I love that. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, let me get it a little closer and we'll do it again. Let me do it up next to that. So here, watch this one now. See how it breaks up and does that cool thing? I love that. And ideally, you want to just let it dry like that. But of course, I get so impatient and I wind up using a heat gun to dry it. So anyway, I think that's pretty good. Let's do that on this side too now. This one's still wet. It's still pretty wet. It doesn't seem like it is. Well, maybe it could be wetter. Got it a little bit wetter. Okay, so that one, I'm going to mist it a little bit more. Oh. See, if you get it too watery, then your previous layer shows through, which could be a good thing for you. It just depends on what you've got going on yours. Okay, so that's kind of cool. You got to let it do its thing and try not to control it too much. I mean, they are northern lights after all. And, you know, they're different every time. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Let's dry that. Trying not to electrocute myself here. So I'm going to pull the camera back up so I don't whack this with the heat gun. I'm going to tilt it just a little bit. All right. I am really happy with that. I think that looks really awesome. I'll hold it up this way for you. What do you think? So now we're going to splatter, and you need to protect things because the splattering kind of goes everywhere. Who has splattered before? If you have splattered before, comment in the put a comment in, would you please? I'm just curious. When I did my in-person paint parties, people were afraid of splattering, we found out. And it's so much fun. I was like surprised. But okay, I don't want to get it all over my equipment here. So let me just grab, I don't know what I want to grab. I guess I'll grab a paper towel. Dolores says splattering is fun. Good. Joanne has splattered. Good. You haven't lived if you haven't splattered, right? Okay. So what's your favorite thing to use to splatter with? I love a fan brush. So let me go grab my fan brush. Where did I put it? I thought I had it here with my other brushes. Hold on, let me grab my fan brush. And then what I've got is just a little bowl that I am going to use to water down my gesso just a little bit. So I'm spraying a little bit of water in this, and I'm just going to grab some white gesso. Right? And so it's a little bit watery, not too much. Okay, something like that. Like the consistency of maybe cream. Not milky thin, but like maybe like cream. Okay, so the very first thing you want to do is get the paint down onto the tips of the bristles. And this might be just a little bit thin. And what we're going to do is tap onto something that doesn't matter. So I've got a little garbage can beside me. Splattering with a metal strainer and a toothbrush. Yeah, I used to use toothbrushes. I don't know. I found them to be a little bit of a pain. So the very first thing I'm going to do is splatter off into this garbage can. And I can actually see on top of my garbage that as I keep tapping it, the splatters get a little bit smaller. And then I can come over here and start splattering. And I'm just tapping with my finger. And I have it a good 8 inches away or so for the big stars. These are the big ones. Then once it's kind of empty, okay, I'm going to start hitting it with something on the ferrule, keeping it further away. And this is what gives you the galaxy of really tiny, tiny, tiny distant stars. You see, there is a whole science to this. It's splatterific. I hope I'm not getting it on my computer. So I need a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and load my brush again. And again, I'm going to offload, splatter into the garbage several times. And I'm going to raise it up even higher this time. I have found that if you hold it a little bit further away when you start splattering, before you know how much is going to come off, and then as it starts to empty, put it closer. That's what works for me. That's what I have found really works. And I really like the really super small splatters. But see how that just kind of softens the whole thing? Now you want a lot of small stars at the bottom so that you have that contrast for your tree line. So anyway, I think that's good enough. I think you get it, right? So then you're going to let this dry, and the next step is going to be adding the trees. Joanne says, I have never used a fan brush to splatter. That looks like it is more controlled. I think it is. I think it works really, really well, a fan brush. And this one is plaid 1 stroke Donna Dewberry, a size 4. All right, I need to rinse this out. Oh, I've got my water over here. Okay, and we're going to let this dry. And while this is drying, we're going to work on our trees. So set this aside. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Pop your questions in the chat. And if you're watching on replay later, just tag me. If you're watching on replay on YouTube, I would really appreciate you watching on YouTube. Go follow my YouTube channel. I'm trying to grow my channel. Okay, so and then yeah, if you're watching me on YouTube and you have a question, I get emailed. So that would be one way for me to get back in touch with you if you do happen to have a question. So here is another one that I did. I showed this at the beginning of the segment. I just got paint inside my sleeve. Look at that. But at least it's inside. Oh, I leaned up against my phthalo blue-green shade. Oh. Okay. Painting is a messy business. I'm just going to leave that for now. So here's another one that I did. And like I said earlier, with this one, it's kind of a little bit more of an advanced technique because there were more layers involved. And after I splattered, I guess I need to hold it this way because that shine is too much. So after I splattered all of the galaxy in there and painted the trees in, I decided to add a little bit more color, and I used magenta at the top, essentially adding a glaze of magenta on top of the stars, on top of the galaxy. But it still gives that effect, right? So that would be one thing you could do as well. All right, so let's do this. That's my chair making that funny noise. So if you wanted to practice with a marker, this Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen is a really good one because it's got a soft nib, like a brush nib. And this is kind of like a brush thing that we're doing. So essentially, you're going to draw a straight line first. At the top of the line, you want to make it really light. It could even just be a couple of dots. So try and start as thin as possible. And then it might get just a little bit thicker at the bottom. So it's just a line, just a vertical line. That's our trunk. And then at the top, you're going to put just a couple of small branches that are spread apart from each other. They're so small, I don't think you can even see that. And then as we get to the middle, we're going to have a few more. And you always want to make sure they connect to the center trunk. By the time we get down here, you know, this is the bottom of our painting. This is going to be pretty much solid down here. But you don't want to be careless in painting it solid because it will kind of show. So I'm just going to go back up there and add a little more density in there. And I kind of go back and forth between, you know, how much density do I need? So there's one. Let me hold it up in front of this camera. It might be a little bit better. There's one tree, right? Then we're going to do another one. And you want to try not to have them too spaced. You don't want to have them spaced evenly. You want to have variation in the amount of spacing. So same thing with this one. I'm going to start off with just a couple of really sparse, spaced apart branches at the top. I can always come back and add more later. Maybe some of my branches cross over the middle. They have different angles to them. Maybe some of them have another branch coming off, you know, just all kinds of different things. So a little bit more heavy-handed at the bottom, a little bit wider. I wind up going back up and doing the middle after I have kind of gone through the whole thing. This looks like too sparse and too much of a line at the top, so I'm going to go in and add just a little bit more up here. Just looks a little too weird to me. And, you know, by all means, look at some photo references. Sometimes it's fun to have them curve up a little bit more like Christmas trees. And you might do something else besides pine trees. You might put a windmill or the silhouette of a barn or even light poles, electric light poles, like as if it's a country road or something. So now I'm going to do another one that's shorter and a little bit closer to that one. And of course, you wanna pretend like the tree to the left isn't there, and you know, draw all of these overlapping branches that would be there. And how wide out would they come out? Okay, so how does that look? Does that look too hard? Oops, was off camera a little bit. Sorry about that. Now, what the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to kind of do a fisheye lens. So as we go out, they're going to just slightly curve. They're going to just slightly go this way, the trunks. Now there, I just evenly spaced those. So let's put another one in between. So something like that. And then you could just fill this in pretty thickly to speed things up. Let's say this is the corner of my painting. I'm going to just kind of fill those in a little bit more quickly. And then go back in and, you know, work my way from the top down like I showed you with the first three, okay? And that'll give me that nice, sort of that fisheye thing starting to happen. So that is how you do the trees. I'm going to come back over here and start putting some of those in on here. So let's have one here to look at. And I think I'll take myself out of the frame and we'll just really zoom in on this. And I do urge you to practice the trees with a pen on paper like that. I think that's going to make all the difference. I think that's going to help you a lot. People do get hung up on trees. People find them kind of difficult sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to use paint now, and I'm going to use a really small liner brush, and I'm going to do these in Payne's Gray. And there's a couple of different layers that I did. Like I can start with the really dark Payne's Gray, and then if you look, I don't know if you can really tell. Yeah, I guess you can. You can see that I came back in with a lighter, slightly lighter color branch on top. And that really makes them look pretty awesome. So let me get some more Payne's Gray. And I'm just going to add a little bit of water to this, or you could just kind of make your Payne's gray more fluid by mixing it with your phthalo blue. And it is very important, the consistency of the paint, that it's nice and fluid so that you can get a good line. When you first start, you might want to wipe the tip of your brush off on the edge of your palette, because your tip of the brush might be a little too wide. It might be too heavily loaded, and you're going to be disappointed that the tip of your tree is too fat. Okay, so I have this here as sort of a reference for myself. This is a little bit hard to do with this camera thing in front of me like this, but I'm going to try. So I'm going to start with one that's, a little bit shorter right here. And just going to start in with and the more of these you do, the easier it does get. You can always make them taller, so don't make them too tall when you start out, because that could be your leeway. Leeway is your best friend. I heard that once, and it has stuck. Okay, so here's another one. I'm gonna come up a little higher. It's a little bit watery. So it's May. Can you believe it's May already? Isn't that crazy? What are you doing for Mother's Day? Anything, you guys? We don't really do too much, but I'm just wondering if you have fun plans. All right, here's another one I'm going to throw in right next to it. And as you start filling it in, you're gonna darken the bottom even more. And I don't know, I find this part very relaxing. Just kind of concentrating like that. So let's do another one. Maybe this one will be spaced apart just a little bit more. So just make sure that the branches are touching the center, um, the trunk. Otherwise, it won't really look quite right. So what are some other things that you would do on your background? Claire, are you still here? What would you paint for your background? You're up in Alaska. Maybe a polar bear, huh? No, polar bears aren't there. Are they? No. How about a moose? That would be pretty cool. A moose silhouette. All right, so I want to get to showing you the second layer of color that you can add on top. So let me get an area kind of filled in. So I'm thinking this whole corner is going to be real dark. If you kind of force yourself and place this big dark area in here, then you have to make all the trees work. And I like kind of rounding it like this. Anyway, you get the idea. This one's really at an angle, kind of crazy. And sometimes it is easier to just do all the branches on one half of the tree and then go back in and do the other side. It's almost like you're painting eyelashes on. Sometimes I think of it that way. Just adding lots of eyelashes. It does look cool when you have some, like bare spots where there's a big piece of like the trunk showing. Okay, let me do these eyelashes. Hey Latrice, how are you? We are doing some Northern Lights here. I think these would look great in your shop, Latrice. You need to make some of these and put them in your little shop. Yeah, so apparently you could even see the Northern Lights all the way down in Arizona. Isn't that crazy? I would love to go see the Super Bloom event. Is that still going on or is that ended? Yes, I do. I'm at work, month end, so I'm watching while I work. Okay. Glad you could watch. We are getting there. You know, and this is the kind of thing, if it starts to feel like, oh, this is just taking forever and you're not enjoying it, come back to it. You know, come back to it when you're in a different mood. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood for this type of thing, these little nitpicky little branches like this. And there are other days where this really suits my mood a lot. Isn't that funny? Is anybody else? You know what I'm talking about? Are you like that? All right, I think that's not bad. And some of them do look a little bit lighter. You know, you want that. You want to have some of the branches looking just a little bit lighter in value, maybe than the trunk. But I would say try not to make the trunk too dark. I've noticed if the trunk is too dark and too fat, it just, I don't know, it doesn't look as good. Okay, I think that looks pretty decent. Now I want to show you a couple little tweaky fun things that you can do. Let me rinse my brush out. And I'm going to use this lighter shade. Just the phthalo blue. So you can see it's a lighter shade. This is starting to dry out a little bit. And I'm going to paint those branches in, and it's totally okay if some of these branches cover the sky. In fact, I kind of like that look. It almost makes it look like maybe some distant trees. But see how we stuck in a little bit more phthalo blue, and it just kind of makes it pop a little bit more. So really, I'm glazing the background a little bit with that. And I like what that did. And then if you want to bring a little bit more contrast to one area, you could use a nail dotter and put a few more white stars, strategically placed stars. I'm being very nitpicky now, but like let's say I want this to be the focal point tree or something. I'm going to use just a nail dotter and dip it right into my little gesso cup there. And put a couple of these dots. These might be a little bit too big. But if you put it like right up against a tree, it'll really pop. And, you know, I would say use a little bit of caution. Don't go too crazy, because that might be enough to pull the eye there. Doing these for sure for my new booth. Good. Watching while I'm putting glass on my rooster. Awesome. Yay. So let's see what else. Oh, I'm going to take just a little bit of this white gesso, just a tiny bit of this, and maybe mix it into the Payne's Gray. So it's just a slightly different tone. And I am going to just paint some branches that, like, these are foreground branches, and they're not really showing that much, are they? Maybe I need a little more white in there. Okay, a little more white. I was just a little bit too, use my nail dotter for that. I was a little too conservative. I mean, it's very subtle. It's not even, you know, necessary. But let's say you have a branch that you really messed up, you really don't like maybe this one right here. I could use this lighter tone and kind of soften that a little bit. Or maybe paint some additional branches next to it to break it up a little bit. So that's one way to kind of fix something. And I like to have some of my branches cross over the trunk. Like those are the foreshortened branches that are coming right at the viewer instead of going off to the side. So that, I think, is pretty much it. Can you see those? I think you can see them. And maybe just like right here, there's kind of a bunch of globs of branches I don't like. So just gonna break those up a little bit. And that's pretty much it. So members, if you are still watching, let me know if you want me to continue this class in the membership. We could take it to the next level with glass and resin. Ooh, wouldn't that be fun? Let me know who's still here watching. So I'm going to add myself back on the screen here. Hi, are you still here? Who's still here? Say hello. Oh my goodness. These are so much fun. I hope that you will do these. I hope that you will, of course, Latrice says, yes, glass and resin this piece for sure. It would be amazing with glass, wouldn't it? Yeah. I mean, I think, oh, I've got some really little bits of glass that I just got. Hi, Christy. Teresa says yes. Hey, Brandy. Thank you. I hope you watch the whole thing. These would be great for you to do too. I just got some glass. Do I have any over here? Is this it? Oh, I think this is it. No, this is something else I broke that turned out to be safety glass. Wait, hold on. I have a big bag of it over there. I don't think I want to grab that. But what if we use this stuff? This is from Michael's. Oh, you received the apron already, Sylvia? Wow. What if we used this on there? Oh, these would be pretty. These could be the stars in the sky. We'll have to do that in the membership. That'll be an exclusive just for you guys. A little bonus lesson. I can't believe you got it already. So Sylvia just ordered, was it the peacock or the mermaid that you ordered? Do I have that glass here? It's kind of bothering me that I don't see it. Hold on. Oh. You know, as soon as I turn the camera off, then I'll find it. But some things that you could do if you're going to glass and resin this, you could put, here's what I was thinking. Here's the peacock. I'm glad you like it. Okay, so here's some things you could do. I absolutely love adding like a metallic paint. So what if you were to put metallic paint, and you can buy metallic teal. That would look gorgeous in there, wouldn't it? I feel like I need the peacock apron. I think I have one peacock apron left, Latrice. You better grab it. But metallic paint, or what about glitter? Sorry, Wilson's here. I've got the hockey game on too. Oh yeah? I didn't even know hockey was still on. Awesome. Hey, Wilson. Yeah, so what about putting glitter in there? I am so annoyed with myself that I can't see my little blue glass. I'm going to have to break down and go grab the big bag of it. Okay, so hold on. Let me go grab it. I'll be right back. All right, here I come with it. You can see why I didn't necessarily want to bring it over here. Yeah, this is how it came in a bag. But let me show you. I wonder how this would look on here. See, so this is what we love. Is it dry? Ooh, look at that. It doesn't sparkle, but with the resin, I bet you that would look awesome. It would give it that texture. Of course, this is just on paper, so I would have to do it on canvas or mount it to a, oh, I bet I'm going to step on this. I'm going to move it over here. But anyway, there's, oh, here it is. Of course, after I did that, I find the jar where I put it. I put it in here. Figures, right? But anyway, it's not that hard to actually mount this onto. It is if you're not looking at the Hawks playoff season. So yeah, we would mount this onto a panel first. Then that's what we would have to do, because you always want a rigid surface if you're going to do glass and resin. Where's that from? It was from. Do I still have it on here? You know what, Jill is the one that told us about it in the membership. Glass Half Full. That's what it was from, Glass Half Full. Yes. I can't believe I remembered that. Let me get this off of here. It's bugging me now. Looks like salt. It looks like blue salt. That's what it looks like. So anyway, what do you think? Did it turn out good? And also, if you've got some friends that you think would be interested in this, it's okay to share the PDF. Tell them to go grab the PDF at agnesfriedlander.com and go ahead and do the lesson. And then if they want to, they can join my free community, the Glass and Resin community on Facebook, and share what they made. So the best part is taking the tape off, right? I know it's going to be wasteful of me to do that. Let me put it back in here. The best part is taking the tape off, right? Isn't that so satisfying? So let's take the tape off of here and see how this looks. The other thing that I noticed about the other paper, the Canva paper that wasn't, I had two layers of tape. The Canva paper that wasn't as white. What I noticed about that, well, this doesn't want to come off of here, is that the tape did not come off cleanly. So, when you're removing tape, you always want to have it almost folding over on itself like this, and you want to do it really slow. Some people say to do it at an angle. That works too. But I just love peeling the tape off, right? This is kind of a watercolor thing. And who would have thought that you could use Scotch Magic tape? Well, I'll get the rest of that off later. Here's this one. Let me see if I can get the top piece off. I have to get this tape off of my hands first. I know, aren't these nice? Does it look like Northern Lights? I think the pine trees help. So there we go. And let me grab a sleeve. Grab a little sleeve. And it'll be protected in here. Oh, I did smear it. Oh, that can be cleaned up though. I will clean that up later. And there we go. There it is. Oops, really hit the camera good that time. So I hope you enjoyed this. I really enjoyed hanging out with you guys. And I think that's it. If you would like to take advantage of my offer, as I mentioned earlier, the membership is open. And I have a very special offer for you right now. The membership is $37 a month, $370 for the year. That's 2 months free. And the membership, this price is only available through, I believe, the 7th. We would love to have you. We've got 150 members, and I just love going in there every day, chatting with the ladies, and it's just so much fun. It's great to be in an environment where you're with a group of like-minded women that just want to paint, have fun, whether it's a hobby or maybe you sell a little, maybe it's sort of a side thing, maybe not. No pressure. Whatever works for you, whatever you want it to be. There, I turned that light off. Oh, that's so much better. I guess I didn't even need that light on. All right, my friends. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye.